today. The idea is to get our legends and leapers to start talking and inspiring and give our members, of course, access to all the wealth that exists within this panel and within the organization. So that being said, I hope everyone is representing whatever city you're from in the chat. And if you have questions that you want us to include, make sure you put them in the chat room. And then I'll let Lauryn do the bios.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Justina. And just so you guys know, Justina is very, very prepared for this. I during the preview, I'm like, hey, everything's off the cuff. She's like, well, you know, I have to have a little bit more preparation. So as you see, she went all the way to the dictionary to give you the proper definition so that she and Pady can feel as young as they truly are as it pertains to legends and leapers. But like she said, no questions have been provided. This is truly just a dialogue and an opportunity for us to get to know both a legend and a leaper within the industry a little bit better. This isn't one of those, you know, how are you feeling post-COVID and all the questions that we always hear on every single panel, you know, at conferences and whatnot. We definitely do things a lot differently with legends and leapers. So we're excited that you guys are joining us. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce our panel today. So Kerry Adams holds a Bachelor of Arts in English from Texas Women's University and has over 12 years of experience providing direct support to C-level executives. She is an advocate for unmatched customer service that must begin with the foundation of an unmatched company culture. Kerry has earned a reputation as a company go-to that either has the answer or won't rest until she finds it. She is closely involved in most aspects of the business, from leading the internship program to business development and relationship management. As the Director of Culture and Community, since helping the organization develop their core values, Kerry serves to ensure those values are honored and reflected in all decisions and facets of the business. Her focus is on building strong external relationships, as well as building a strong team that is diverse and equitable, where all members feel a sense of belonging and inclusion. And it also just so happens to be Kerry's birthday.
Hey,
so we are super excited about that as well. We should have had Stevie Wonder playing in the opening just for you, Kerry. So maybe Justina will sing at the end. Pady Regnier is the founder and CEO of the award-winning company Airport Retail Group for over 25 years. ARG has successfully operated and partnered with proprietary local and global brands for airport concession retail and food and beverage stores. Her passion to develop local brands while delivering excellent customer experience for every passenger. Pady was named Women's Business Leader of the Year by the Minneapolis Business Journal. The National Association of Business Owners gave Pady their Innovator Award. She was chair of the Bloomington Convention and Visitors Bureau and St. Therese Catholic Parish, a board member of the Rotary International and Girl Scouts Entrepreneur Camp. ARG has won 3 top Airport Experience Awards in the last 5 years for Best Retail Local Concept in North America. ARG was named USA Today's Reader's Choice for the favorite airport shop and USA Today's Top 10 Best Store of the Year. USA Today, Minneapolis Star, and Tribune, CNN, and local television stations have profiled Pady and her team for her innovative store concepts. Pady is also a founding member of the board of the MSP NICE Award Program. She has appeared as a speaker and moderator for AMAC, AXN, and ACI industry associations on various concession and customer service topics. Most recently, ARG's Prince. If you have not been to the Prince store in Minneapolis Airport, has garnered millions of social media views by providing a unique, respectful, and authentic store honoring Prince. The customer video resulted in over 3.5 million views on YouTube. ARG is known for its innovative ways of rewarding and retaining employees. The ARG team has won numerous customer service awards, including the 5-Star Customer Service Award, multiple Bloomington Diamond Customer Service Awards, and MSP NICE Award. ARG is also proud to have won Sustainability Partner Award at MSP. ARG uses and innovates sustainable practices and programs. The company collaborates with local communities to rescue food from its stores to use in local communities in need. ARG partners with Loaves and Fishes, a program that in 2020 alone provided over 2 million meals served to people in need. So Pady is clearly new to this industry.
You know
A
what?
little, wet behind the ears.
RP one. It's too long.
So now I know why I was asked to be on this panel, Pady, because we are both, I'm from Minnesota, so I know about that. For those of you on the call, Minnesota nice is the thing. That's why you heard nice so much in her bio. I'll have to tell you, in listening to the bios, and of course we know we've been introduced to both Pady and Kerry, but one of the things that strikes me when we talk about, in the context of Legends and Leapers, as well as Women's History Month, is how much we do and accomplish, and how much we have to balance that. So my first question is, how do you promote, obtain, or strive for a work-life balance with all that it is that you've accomplished? And we heard all of the boards that you guys are both on. We know the great work that you do in your organizations. How do you promote, obtain, or at least strive for work-life balance?
Go for it, birthday girl.
Oh gosh, I knew you were going to say that.
You guys don't be shy about it. You know, it's okay to have work-life balance.
Okay, I feel like I'm still working on that, striking that work-life balance. Because I can tend to be a workaholic, and I come into my desk and just like zone into my computer, you know, and it takes a little bit to pull me away from that. I try not to take work home with me. My partner has asked me before, you know, things about my work and my job, and I'm like, it's great. Things are wonderful, and I don't need to come home and, you know, rehash everything that just happened for the last hours. Let's live our life. So I'm still working on it.
Sounds like you're striving for it, Kerry. So hopefully Pady is about to just wow us out the park and give us some tips on how to have work-life balance.
There's no such thing. There just isn't, you know, there just isn't. I mean, you just do your best. You know, you get up every day and you say, okay, what do I need to concentrate on? And you know, and Kerry, you're ahead of me, because if you're not able to bring it home, that's pretty good, because I usually have to dump it on my husband or somebody, my neighbor. No, you know what? I just think you do your best, and you know that and the people that love you and the things that you care about, somehow it works out for me. And, you know, I had a large family, so I'm always juggling that along with, but I also think that having people around you, like my team, is just flipping amazing. And just having that total trust and just the ability for us to just know each other and understand how to work together is what my team is really what allows me to be able to have any balance at all.
And the
mental balance is still we're still working on that too.
You know, the team is relative. It is your work and your professional team, your home and your professional team. I came home from work, I think at 8 o'clock, and I didn't realize it. And my sister called me and she said, "This is not sustainable." And so sometimes it is somebody calling your attention to the fact that you don't have work-life balance.
I'm just impressed with the fact that Kerry can go home and not talk about work and say, "Oh, work was good." Because Pady, I'm like you. I'm literally like throwing up on my husband. Like, let me recap the entire day from when I woke up until right now.
Absolutely.
My husband gets he gets special points in heaven, trust me. So
very good.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. So Kerry, one thing that I noticed was, as awesome as your bio was, it does not have your company in there.
I know, when you were reading that, I was like, oh my gosh, nobody's gonna know my company, but it is in the flyer. So I'm
okay, gotcha.
My company.
So tell me, because, you know, I love the fact that when we have, you know, we try to be very diverse as far as our panel on Legends and Leapers, right? We don't always want to be, you know, have concessions on there. We don't always want to just have an airport or, you know, et cetera. We want to really mix it up. And we like also having businesses that sometimes not everyone has necessarily thought about as far as the industry is concerned. So just really quickly, you know, one of the things that your bio says is that you provided direct support for C-level executives within your organization. What organization is that?
Wait, I'm sorry, say that again.
what's the name of your company?
Oh, Departure Media is our company. We're airport advertising concessionaire. We're 100% woman owned, ACDBE certified in over 30 states, and we provide advertising concessions exclusively for airports.
Thank you. For anyone that didn't know, so I always talk about how our industry has all of these micro industries within it, right? And so you can pretty much do about anything within the aviation industry or anything in the world, anything in life, and it can apply to the aviation industry. So doing advertising within the airport. So Kerry, we're going to get into that a little bit more, but what I really want to talk about is, as far as your organizations are concerned, Kerry, you work for a woman-owned, 100% ACDBE certified business. Pady, clearly you are a well-awarded ACDBE woman-owned business. What have the challenges been that you guys have seen over the past, I'll say decade or decades, because both of you have been in the industry for over 10 years. So that wasn't a jab for any legend or leaper in particular, but talk about some of those challenges that you guys have seen just being a woman-owned business coming into a male-dominated industry.
What do you want to?
And how have you overcome those?
Well, I guess I'll jump in. I mean, it's a relationships, it's just getting to know people and showing up and having value, that ideas, something new, maybe a way of approaching things. My way in has always been just really connecting with the small business community in each market that I try to join in, because that's truly where my heart is. I love I have made such amazing friends with other small ACDBEs and other small businesses that I've just been so blessed, honestly, to be in this industry, but also to meet these amazing entrepreneurs and women and men and all kinds of folks that one of my favorite stories is in Salt Lake City. I met this, wonderful Jorge, this wonderful maker of amazing Mexican food, and we've just become friends, and just the same kind of situation in Raleigh, Durham, and some great friends with Pam and Jesse there with the store we do, Root and Branch, as partners with Marshall Retail. So I have to tell you, we are just so blessed that we have all this creativity in our industry. And I think the hardest part is just somehow making airports there. It's hard. It's scary for small companies to try to run over that hill, right? It's really, really hard. And sometimes if you can kind of say, it's okay, we're going to be together, it's going to be fine, don't worry about that little thing that they're going to make you do. It's going to be fine. There's just a lot you can do when you band together as small businesses, really a lot.
Yeah, and I'd echo that and say, I think as far as challenges, probably the first thing that comes to my mind is getting past perceptions that people have, whether that be that we're a subcontractor because we're 100% ACDBE, which we're not, we're 100% prime, or any other number of just preconceived notions that people have. And I echo what Pady said about the connections. It is all about the connections, and that's why I love AMAC so much. It's everybody helping everybody, and wanting to see everyone else succeed and kind of lifting everyone else up with you.
Nice, thank you for that. I'm going to ask a different question, and that was, I hope everyone got all the little nuggets that I got of both of those responses. But what is one thing that you learned that or that you didn't know that that no one would be able to find on the internet? Like, what is something that you learned that has been impactful for you that you wouldn't be able to look up and find it?
About the aviation industry specifically?
In general, what that's led to your success?
Oh boy. Justina, that's a
this generation now, they have the benefit of the internet. This is a good throw off question, Lauryn. Do I get 1 point for that?
No, you do. That was my thumbs up just for you.
Okay, so you have this generation now where they get to go on the internet and they don't commit anything to memory, or they have not gotten in the practice of having the same bumps that we've had because they can go to the internet to find answers to every question. So what is one thing that you couldn't find on the internet that you've learned that has been impactful in your life, lesson learned or otherwise?
I think for me, and I guess with enough research, you could put this all together, but just how important culture is in a business, and how important it is, the way that you treat your employees and the way that they treat each other, and just how much of an impact that can have on your business and its success.
Boy, Kerry, I couldn't agree more, because, wherever I've struggled the most and had the most turmoil in our business, and believe me, we've all had them, is when there's been a wrong fit. And my staff, one of the things they will tell you is I am very, very slow to make changes when they need to be made. I just hate that part of life and part of work. And it's a issue I have in my personal life too, is just like, oh my gosh, I got to make this decision to move away from this person or move away from this particular project. And it's always really hard for me. And I think, it's not, and not to bring this wonderful thing down, but that's been probably where I've learned the most, just through hard walls I've walked into, that, sometimes you just can't fix something and you gotta let it go.
I want to stay here for a second, because
Oh no.
and I want to stay here for a second, Patty, because you said not to bring this thing down, because that's a real conversation,
Yeah.
especially right now when we are where we are as far as trying to hire, we're recreating culture, right? Because this company culture looks completely different than all of the company culture that we had established prior to 2020. And we're trying to figure out what this new world, but really new culture looks like within the environment that we're in, whether it's not being able to find people, whether it's trying to find the right fit, whether it's finding people that are gonna show up and do the work and everything else, whether it's a contractor, whether it's an employee, the whole nine. And Kerry, you being director of culture and community, and Pady, you being the award-winning airport retail group that you are, what are you guys doing right now? And this is really for everybody that's attending. What are you all doing right now that is helping create that culture and community that you're seeing is actually working and sticking? And you can kind of drop some gems for everyone else, because I know we're all struggling with this right now.
I think building connection is one thing that we really tried to take a refocus on. And connection, just that word and what that is so powerful. I read somewhere, feeling connection creates a state of homeostasis in your body, which, basically that's your blood, everything inside of your body working better when you're in a state of homeostasis. And building connection can do that for you when you feel connected. And so just, something really small for our team is we took our weekly sales calls. And it's really not just a sales call, it's really a kind of a weekly all hands meeting. And we just tried to kind of infuse more camaraderie building in that meeting. And we start each of those meetings with just like an icebreaker, what we call it. And it's just usually, sometimes a simple question like, do you prefer salty or sweet things? Or, sometimes it can be more involved, but it's amazing the transformation that I think has built into our team. Just everybody getting to know each other better. And we have a lot of people that are remote, a lot of salespeople across the country. And it's just really made our team so much stronger. And I think that's just been really huge for us, just connection building. And that's across not just our team, but also, with our airport partners, and getting more FaceTime with them and having more frequent check-ins, and just being there and connecting with each other.
Again, Kerry, I couldn't agree more. I think what happened with us is the folks that really wanted to be there and really had the love for our team and for our products and for our customers, they rose to the occasion as we went through what we just went through. And that really showed me that it's not necessarily about the resume stuff. It's about the heart. It's about the love for doing the right thing for your team. I mean, I have to say one of the blessings has been, there's been a number of blessings, but one of the blessings has been is, we really try every day to think about what we can do to help our team, what's going on with them, and, what's the barriers, and, how could, we've really had, and this is again, a testament to my leadership team, but we really have had great loyalty, and the best and the brightest came back and they're still with us. And not that we haven't had our challenges, we have, everybody does, but I will tell you that it's really waking up every day and saying, what's the right, I hope that's what we're doing every day. Maybe we don't do it every day, but 4 out of 7, hopefully we're getting to work every day and saying, what are we doing right for our team? What can we do to help? What do they need from us? And absolutely believe you're right. You're across a room with somebody as opposed to on a video call. I know this, we're on a video call. It just creates all kinds of connections. And so I applaud you guys for making it fun and interesting, and people being able to bring their own personalities and characters to your calls. That's cool.
There's something about when you know somebody different, you can relate to them different, and it makes you a different level of productivities. You kind of seem more real to people in a matter of words. So, there's a quote, and this is the last thing that I will say that I looked up by Walt Disney. It says the way to get started is to quit.
She's the one that said, "What can't you find on the internet?" As
I did.
Hitting us with all the internet research.
I know. So the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing something. And so that's a quote by Walt Disney. So we had, of course, in our careers, all of us, a pivot point. I use that basketball analogy. So what was like a pivot point where you decided you needed to take a hard turn and go a different way that led to where you are today?
Well, I can jump in. An answer comes to mind for me. I read this book called Delivering Happiness by Tony Hsieh from Zappos, R.I.P.
Read that too.
Yeah, but that was just a pivotal time for me. I just realized kind of like what I care about. So yeah, just reading that book and seeing, and I guess that goes back to my question before about what you can't find on the internet, because I found that in a book. And it just opened my eyes to the world of company culture and how much that matters.
I actually stole a couple of his core values for our core values.
Love it.
And what about weirdness? We infuse a little weirdness in our work. That was right from Tony. I guess the pivot point for me was when I got fired from my job. That's how I started my company. Nothing like getting fired I had 5 little kids, and, I had business, and, I didn't have a business yet. I was working as an executive for a company that let me go. And I thought, I don't want to work for anybody anymore. I want to do my own thing. So I, walked out with my little box and got home and started saying, okay, guess what, guys, it's going to be a new adventure. It took me a couple of years to get it rolling, but actually it was kind of cool. I, used a couple credit cards and opened up some stores at the Mall of America. And, that was very much a pivot point. And my kids would help me tag shirts. So it was, we got in the logo merchandise business, and that's how we got to the airport.
So Pady, you started off in your retail started off in Mall of America?
Yep. We started in Mall of America. Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
So Mall of America needed someone to do logo merchandise stores for them. In other words, it was a tourist attraction like Disney. So we would do T-shirts and hats and, all the souvenir kind of stuff. So we were there were 50 firms that I put together a consortium from my old executive job of a screen printer and a graphic artist. And I developed a line of Mall of America merchandise. And then I bid, oh my gosh, it seems like a million years ago. I bid with a bunch of other companies. There was like 3 finalists, and I was by far the smallest, but we won. And so we did Mall of America gift stores for, and then we branched out into other malls doing other merchandise programs like local gift, that kind of stuff. But we started that, and that's how I started my companies. I got fired from my job and decided to do, and I was an apparel executive for a company prior to that. So I knew how to do all that stuff, put all those products and programs together. We used to do the university teas, and then the destination teas. And so I knew how to do all that. So that's how I started. That's how it happened. So sometimes when bad things happen, it's super blessing. It was most of the time a blessing. Sometimes it was crazy, but it was fun. The first day we opened, just a real quick story, I hadn't had a chance to go home. So all I had is my suit on because I had a meeting, and I put my shorts on, and I was walking around in high heels and shorts, opening all the stores because we were short staffed. And I remember I worked like 2 days straight with no sleep, just selling. And we were super hit right from the beginning. And people were just lining up to buy these Mall of America t-shirts. It was crazy. And yeah, and I went home, and I'd been in high heels for 2 days straight because I didn't have a change of clothes. And I hate high heels now. I just won't wear them.
That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So how did that transition into from Mall of America? Like people are in the chat talking about how awesome your story is. How did that transition from Mall of America, which is, let's be serious, Mall of America,
Yeah,
into
It's a big deal.
well,
right,
yeah.
into the aviation and airport concession space?
Well, MSP is just down the road from Mall of America. In fact, I had a little use clause problem at Mall of America and being able to go and bid there because I had to have a 5-mile radius thing with the mall. So, but I won my first store. I was a subtenant for Delaware North. It was a sports store, and it also was on the other half was a Mall of America souvenir store. So they kind of partnered with me. That's how I got out of the use clause situation. So I ended up starting there, and I kind of ran both of them for a while. And then about 9 years ago now, we went 100% airports. And so really all the growth we've had in airports has been in the last 9 years.
That's amazing, Pady.
Well, I don't know about that, but there's been some good deals and some bad deals, but but that's kind of how I got there. Is I wanted to just expand into the airport. There was a crazy guy in Minneapolis called Joe Anderson, who we all still remember and love. He's now passed, but he just said, "You got to do this," and I got, really was supportive, and that's how it happened.
That's what we do sometimes as women, is we don't give ourselves, a chance to pat our own selves on the back, or we don't realize the impact of all of our action and how some of the stuff we do is not even replicable because we don't even talk about it for people to be able to use any ingredients or any recipes that we've used to be able to, modify it. I think of my grandmother's recipes and what I've done to modify it since I've gotten older. But sometimes we need to tell that story that we don't think is such a big deal because it actually means that it can have significant impacts to other people in the organization, which is, of course, one of the benefits of being an AMAC is you get to kind of get firsthand up close with those folks that can tell those stories. So we had 2 examples. One where it was like, you went and you found that unexpectedly, Kerry, with reading that book and having that be something that triggered your approach to, your new approach to culture and workplace culture. And Pady with, a good old fashioned boot, sometimes that gets you to go in a different direction that you wouldn't otherwise go. Well, wasn't it timely? And isn't it a blessing when you look back at it? So we, in fact, have created you guys, we're talking about you guys today, not me. You guys have in fact created this platform for yourselves, and that has of course had tsunami effects throughout the folks that are in your organization. So consider yourselves, and I'm borrowing a little bit of this, Lauryn, to be kind of super women, right? So what do you think are your superpowers? And how have they contributed to your ability to be successful?
Go first, Pady.
Oh, geez. I don't even like to think about a superpower. I don't even have any idea. I guess I'm enthusiastic.
You're so
Um,
modest, Patty. You are just
I
so
really am.
modest.
I
She's
think I'm
like, I just opened up stores in Mall of America with 5 kids after
I
getting
just
fired
didn't
and not
sleep for
thinking
2
of it.
days
But
and was walking around in
oh, come on.
heels. And
yeah,
I
and
can't believe
yeah,
it. No, it's sounding, and I was younger. I was a leaper back then.
back in my leaping days,
Back
right?
in my leaping days. Okay, I don't want to make it sound like, that, I mean, but I think I'm an enthusiastic person, and I don't know if that's a superpower. And I think I really do like to have fun at work. I like to make sure I'm including people. At least I try. I don't know if I'm successful all the time, but I guess that would be it for me.
Let's just not say that would be it, because Patty, that's a big deal. We know about Daryl Downers. I'm not going to say Debbie Downers because Women History Month. Daryl Downers. So sometimes you need that person that's just overly enthusiastic and optimistic in the workplace, because it has, snowball effects for other folks. And you look at things from the bright side versus, everything is like the end of the world. So enthusiasm is a superpower, and it's not inherent. So I appreciate that enthusiasm sometimes at the office.
being
Kerry, what is your...
as modest as and humble as Patty's trying to be, people are in the chat telling Patty what her superpowers are. So enthusiastic, helpful, and positive are just some of the things that Pady is, but there's so much more. So Pady, if you're not going to give yourself flowers, we're going to give them to you, especially this Women's History Month, and especially after hearing, just a little bit about your background and your story and how you got to where you were. So
we're not letting Kerry off the hook though, ma'am. What?
Not at all, but I was trying to give her a moment because she felt like she was still trying to figure out what it was. Only because it's her birthday. Am I going soft on her?
No, you're good. I was just gonna say, Patty, I think positivity, I can, just from knowing you this brief amount of time, I have already you radiate this positivity. I love that. So I think mine, I'd probably say empathy. Maybe sometimes err on being a little too empathetic. But I feel like I kind of have this ability to understand people where they're at. And just a general acceptance of people and understanding. People want to...
Patty, that's no easy superpower to have, because sometimes it can bite you and leave you in a compromising position because you've empathized too much. So how do you strike that balance? And that was something that I was going to ask. How do you strike that balance with who you are versus where you need to be from 8 to 5? How do you strike that balance?
Gosh, I do not know how to answer that question. I'm still working on it. That's another still working on. I just try to separate things and cut myself off at a certain point and just say this, this is not your problem to solve alone. Just still working on that.
And that's fair. And sometimes we're of course, my father says there's no such thing as a ripe tomato if you're asked. So we all have some growing to do, and we're all green tomatoes in that way. So it's okay. I'm still striking the balance on how to fix my face in meetings and conversations so that people aren't so alarmed when they see my responses to things. So
I miss wearing masks for that very reason, Justina. Patty, before you answer that question, I just said I'm going to go soft on Kerry, but now I'm not. She's giving us very surface, and I'm not going to let her fly with this last one because I'm an empath. So I understand how that can affect you positively, but also more so than not, usually negatively. So with empathy being your superpower, how do you overcome those times where you have been disappointed or taken advantage of, or, the negative things that come with being empathic with people? How do you overcome that and still pick yourself up by the bootstraps and not harden yourself?
I guess maybe my other superpower is optimism. I'm just an eternal optimist. I always think everything's going to turn out fine. I'm not a worrier, worrier, not warrior. But I don't know how else to say that.
Glass is half full. It's going to be okay. this is just one isolated incident, it's not going to happen again type thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what tends to stick with me the most is when people are unhappy and I'm not able to make them happy. And again, that's something I still work on, but I guess you just at a certain point kind of learn to compartmentalize and just set it aside and not really let it affect your overall being.
So Kerry, you are super zen. All right, I'm picking on you now. You are super zen. You don't take work home. You don't talk about work to your partner when you get home. You are this empath that also is super optimistic and doesn't worry. So like, what are your outlets? How do you, because it got to be frustrating trying to fix everybody's problems. Like, I'm just looking at the halo and then the cape. So how do you let when you get frustrated, right? Like, what is your escape? How do you not blow up on people?
How do you release the valve?
You know what I mean?
Well, I used to play roller derby.
Makes sense. Wow.
Totally didn't see that coming. Totally didn't see that coming.
What was your name? Did you have a roller derby name?
I actually never decided on a full name.
That just means she can't tell us.
My regular
name.
But I did that until I broke my leg, so that was a good outlet for frustrations. But now I don't do that, so I don't know what I do. Really, I guess but just dive myself into my hobbies. I love photography and music. I'm a musician and I collect instruments, and so just kind of going into a different world and getting lost in music or photography, any kind of hobby.
That's good.
From roller derby to photography. I like it.
Yeah, those are two extremes.
He's very well rounded.
I'm thinking of every roller derby that I've been to, and I'm thinking about how that personality parlays itself into the office, right? All those dynamics.
Well,
Let me ask you, this is a fun question, because as I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking about roller derby movies that I've seen or scenes, and they have been hilarity. What is a movie or show that you have seen that you have incorporated aspects of it or used to relate differently at work? I'm in procurement, so my first one would be War Dogs. That was like totally a procurement movie. So like, what is a TV show or a movie that you saw that you have taken some of that and relate to what you have going on at the office or in your roles?
That's a hard question.
Well,
Pady does that?
It's relevant now, but I love Ted Lasso. I mean, I just feel like that I've asked my team I said, I'll even get you an Apple Plus subscription to watch it, because it's just not about soccer. It's just not. It's just about relationships and making everybody to get together so they're all better. I now that we're in season 3, I love that show.
That's a good answer, Pady. And when I started watching that, I thought, this is just such a picture of what company culture is, what culture is. So that's such a great answer. I take Pady's answer too.
No, you can't take
No,
Pady's
ma'am.
answer, Kerry. You guys have been on the same team this whole time. We need a new answer, a new movie, a new show.
Just nothing is coming to mind, you guys. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of TV.
Because if you're not doing roller derby, you're painting, you're doing something artistic, photography, etc. It's understandable, totally understandable. Pady, you didn't get to answer Justina's last question. I didn't know if you had an answer or not, because I started honing in on Kerry over there.
I thought I did. What was it again?
It's all good. I have plenty more, and I know Justina wrote hers down, so she has some too. So we can keep going. That's not a problem. I just wanted to make sure that in my coming for the birthday girl, that I didn't exclude you in answering the question.
I'm good. I thought I had, but okay.
Okay, so and this is probably something, you know, we usually say for the after show, but this print store, can you just tell us a little bit about this print store? And more so because Prince is Prince, but your
Yeah.
store is an award-winning, like it's become almost an icon in Minneapolis at this point. So tell us a little bit about how the print store came about, and what that looks like.
Well, we were doing oh golly, we were doing a sports store, and our, you know, it was one of those temporary leases, you know, to get underneath the RFP stuff. So it's like a 2-year deal, and then you re-up and you re-up. And I kind of felt like we had been tired. And honestly, it's not, Minnesota's not the greatest place to have a sports store because our teams kind of struggle. Let's just say that.
Timberwolves, what? No.
Anyway, you know, whenever they break our heart, you know, pretty much daily, we have hope for the Wild this year. So maybe we get a hockey championship or a Final Four, but I'm a big sports fan. But anyway, so I said, let's do something different. And honestly, gosh, I live in a town that's adjacent to where Prince lived. I live in a town, he lived in the Chanhassen area, and he's got where Paisley Park is. And we used to see him riding his bike around our, you know, town's area, and he'd wear his outfits, and he was just a great neighbor. I mean, again, I didn't see him personally. I had a couple times I got to go to Paisley to do the, you know, sort of the concerts that just came out of nowhere. But one night I just said, gosh, I should see, and they were in litigation, you know, because Prince had passed it, and you know, and I want to be very, very respectful of Prince and his legacy, and what's important to him, and, you know, and so I just called the Paisley Park folks and said, you guys, I'm thinking about doing something to MSP. We have, you know, nearly 40 million passengers, and it'd be a great thing. And I want to do something really respectful. And you guys, honestly, it was like, sometimes things just come together. Have you ever heard of a store that opens in 6 weeks? Ever in the airport? Especially one that's in litigation or in some kind of a probate court thing where we had to get permission from a judge to get it open. But they just embraced the idea. So shout out to the Prince team, amazing. And we really took all of the elements of, you know, First Avenue where we started, and we really tried to tell the story. I mean, we're not just selling t-shirts. It's about him and the immersion, and we sell albums, and we've got his best performances, and they shared all kinds of different archives with us. We have a replica of his guitar. We have the notes from him, him writing music. I mean, it's really an homage and a real heartfelt love for our hometown guy, you know, for Prince. And so that's what we tried to convey, and we did it in 6 weeks. I mean, it's like kind of like, well, it is a miracle. So, and it really was been a wonderful experience, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate being part of the Prince family in our own way, in terms of trying to really be respectful of all that he means to us. So
That is absolutely amazing. My mom, and I don't want to misquote her, and I
know your mom.
My mom, she always says, when preparation meets opportunity, and it typically leads to the anointment of ease. And we always talk about, you know, women's history, and, you know, I even started off with like, what are the challenges and how hard has it been to be a woman and whatnot. But in your personal or professional lives, where has that anointment of ease kind of just taken place, where preparation met opportunity, and you're like, is this too easy? Is it supposed to be this easy? Like, what was that? What, and it could be more than one story, right? Where has that happened in your life? Because both of you are super successful, so I know it's happened, but tell us a little about that story. Because I think that, to Justina's point, we all want to hear those type of things as a little bit of motivation, and also to be able to relate too.
All right.
I got him, Justina. I got him.
Right, for who goes first, huh? I think for me, I really have to thank my CEO, Leslie, and where I came to this business. I had moved to South Carolina to be with my family because my dad was not well. And I was looking for a job, and at the time, had done a lot of, not a lot, but a couple of different things, been in a couple of different industries, and I didn't really have a great path set out for myself, as far as a career trajectory. And so I came here and I was looking for a job, and it was just almost like luck that I linked up with Leslie and her company and got hired on. And I actually got hired on as an office assistant in an hourly, low level kind of job. And then really actually within 2 weeks, I was promoted, I had a salary, I had my own office. So it was just one of those, everything kind of came together, and certain things were happening, and it just, here I am now.
You said 2 weeks, right, Kerry?
Sorry, what?
You said 2 weeks?
You said 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I heard that right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because a
That's
lot
the
of times
stuff of-
people kind of, they stick their noses up at those entry level opportunities or entry level positions. And then here you come in, and in 2 weeks, you went from being the entry level hourly employee to a salaried. That's impressive.
Yeah. It's the little things.
Yeah,
Pady.
it was a little bit of luck and a little bit of just kind of showing what I'm made of.
Right. That's it.
Pady, I know you're anxious to answer that question. I know we just have 5
I think
minutes.
I already did.
Good, but because I have a different one for you then. So we
Okay.
have 5 minutes left, and I would be remiss if I didn't ask the question. So AMAC, so what does it mean to you, and how has your membership or being involved impacted your career in a meaningful way?
Well, first of all, again, the community and the friends I've made. And, and I have to tell you, the first couple of years I was in an airport, I didn't even, because I was just so consumed with running the mall stores, and I didn't even know about AMAC. So I'm really not a super long time member. I think I've been a member for maybe 7, 8 years. And the community and the fun, and I mean, the AMAC conference, I mean, let's face it, Chicago last year was so much fun. I mean, it just was so dang much fun. I mean, all over the top fun. And it just, I look forward to seeing everybody, and it's just got such a great vibe to it. And I just really appreciate just how strong it's become, really. And Ebony, just a shout out to Ebony. I mean, really, just with Ebony's leadership, it's just been great. And we've had great leaders, but I just feel it's a great organization, and it's a great way for people to get, I love to make sure to tell everyone that I'm working with that are small businesses. I mean, it's a way to feel at home.
That's a perfect way to put it. I absolutely agree with that. It's family. It has been since the first conference that I went to. Just immediately, everybody just welcomes you with like literal open arms. And it is just such a family, and going to the conferences, it's just a big family reunion. And like I said before, everyone wants to see everyone else succeed. And I feel like when especially the AMAC conference, go to that, it's not people saying, here's my business, here's what I do, me. It's so much more of, what do you do and how can I help you? That's the general feel, and I love that. And that, that's not just within the industry, that's also the grander level of what AMAC does on the on the government level, legislation level, and all the things, all the people that have come behind me that have worked so hard to get actual legislation passed that helps small businesses. So.
Ladies, I really appreciate your sharing that and all that you have shared in the conversation today. Of course, we knew why you were chosen to be Legend Leapers. I think the audience is very well versed in why you were chosen as well. Those folks that are on the call, thank you for coming. But I will also say that this will be viewed again, because I watched the previous videos before I came to this one. So if there's any piece that anybody missed, there's a playback. So I thank you, Lauryn, as well as Ebony, for allowing me to be a part of this conversation too. Thank you, Kerry, again, and Pady.
So Lauryn, I think Ricky is in trouble. Do you agree?
So, you know, and hopefully Ricky's not on here. I don't know if he is or not. I hope he's not. But I will say that I love Ricky as a host. Okay. Ricky's gonna come back and say Justina cheated because she wrote her questions down and she researched.
I love it. I love that. I look up words all
However,
the time. Justina is a woman after my own heart.
I was gonna say, however, and then he's gonna say she stole one of his questions. You know, Ricky's not gonna give her any credit at all whatsoever.
Well, this has been really,
But
really
she definitely came with some stumpers nonetheless, and that really was the goal. Both Pady and Kerry had to kind of look in the air and no, you go, no, you go. So I'm thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, what a wonderful conversation. And what a wonderful way to celebrate women in this industry. There are so many stories that I'm sure both Pady and Kerry could share. And this was just the beginning of them. So we talk about AMAC being a family. And, you know, part of that family and coming to the conference and participating in our local chapters includes learning, right? Learning best practices, learning how they did stuff, getting advice. And so the network that AMAC presents is like none other. And so we encourage those of you who are not members to join us. Check us out at our annual conference. But again, you know, as we are opening local chapters, and that is the one thing that I failed to say, Justina will tell you, and I'll let Justina actually add this, but we will be submitting or issuing a call for interest
Proposals.
for new chapters. And so get your folks together in new cities, because we love to take what we do nationally and have that same level of impact locally. So again, what happens now is the after party. And they're like, so what does that mean? So I want to officially thank you guys for the conversation. Thank those of you out there for staying engaged. I see all of the information in the chat and the questions and the shout outs. But now comes some additional fun. And so this is kind of the after show, but for those of you who are able to stay, we welcome that for another 10 or so minutes. And for those of you that gotta go, we'll see you soon. So Lauryn, I actually have to drop off too. I'm gonna switch it over to you as the moderator, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Thank you so much, Ebony. So everyone's just talking about how inspiring you all have been. And of course, you know, I think it was we were at an ACI conference, and Robin Gibson was just talking about who run the world, girls, you know, as Beyonce's tour is taking over. But you all truly have been just getting to know you a little bit better. And I know, Pady, I feel like I've known you for a long time. Kerry, we are an emerging leaders together, and just hearing these stories is what I love about Legends and Leapers. You get to understand where people come from a little bit more. You get to learn them a little bit better on a deeper level outside of just, you know, the corporate structure or the business entity of it. So Pady, you know, I am about to be a mom of two.
Yeah, I know.
I am cutting it all off after baby boy gets here. But one of the things that you said is that you got fired from your job.
Yep.
With five kids.
Yeah.
And started your business.
Yep.
How did you balance being a mom of five? Because it's like being a mom is one thing, right? But like being a mom of five, I just feel like is a whole nother thing. How did you balance that while starting a whole new career in entrepreneurship in Mall of America?
Well, you know, I didn't do a lot of it right. You know, there was, I mean, you know, you have to remember it's a different time too, you know, I mean, there was no discussion of work-life balance when I was starting out. It was all work, and so I gotta be honest with you, just you and me, babe. I've got some regrets. I think I told you this when we talked. My youngest son learned to walk when I was in New York. Honestly, I'll take that one to my grave. He doesn't remember, but I do. I had an amazing, supportive, husband and who, was working. So there wasn't like we weren't able to go to Target, but it was, and I honestly, what I will tell you though, is what you learn and what I have to remind myself is you learn how to scrappy. I cash flowed my business from day one by just maxing my credit cards. And once the sales started coming in, we were able to just cash flow. I never had to borrow money. I've borrowed more money in the last 5 years for my massively expensive, airport stores, than I ever had when I started out my company, because you just scrap, you just figure it out. You just figure out how to do it. And it took it. And I tell people now that I literally did not have to borrow money for like 4 years, because I was able to just, not that I didn't have credit. I had like 15 credit cards. I was just running the business on. And when you start out that way, again, this is 25, almost, actually I'm almost 30 years ago. So, I don't know. I had a supportive family. I had my mom and dad helped out. And my kids, I'd bring them to work. Before it was cool. So that's what I did.
And Kerry, what does your village look like?
What does my village look like?
Yeah, your support system, your village.
My family and friends are a huge part of that village, and my team. I'm super just very into family, and every chance I get, I want to be with and be around my family. It's just a bunch of awesome people, a really big family, and friends. I have friends that I've known since 4th grade. They're my small core group of friends. I've known them since elementary school. Huge part of my kind of support team. And then my team here at work, I'm very fortunate actually. Run of the core team here at Partial Media. We've all been together for about 7 years now. So I'm super fortunate in that respect, and they're definitely part of my little tribe.
I don't know if it was a Amber Alert or.
That wasn't me.
Sorry, that was my phone was laying against the computer. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
okay.
Oh,
That was so weird.
I was like, is it an Amber
I was
Alert?
so
Is it
glad I was on mute
tornado?
and I knew it wasn't me.
Sorry, I didn't realize that was loud.
There's the mute button.
No, that's like, because I think, and we always talk about us. Well, I shouldn't say always talk about us, but like we talk about how we've gotten to where we've got, how we've gotten to where we've gotten, et cetera. And a lot of times I don't want to say we forget, but we don't always mention the village that helped us get to where we are, and how we couldn't do what we do without having that support. Because I think it's something that gets lost as generations go. I think Justina talked about, this new generation and researching and Googling as she was Googling everything. But losing that aspect of like family and village and support and whatnot, and just how important they really are, especially as being professional working women, whether it's just to have an outlet or having someone to lean on, or just someone to tell you like, hey, you got this, keep going. I personally feel like that just having that village and support is just so key to my personal success, right? And it sounds like it has been for you all as well too.
Yep. People in your life, that help you make your dreams come true. That's not that I even knew what the dreams were at that time, but they came true, I guess. So
just rocking and rolling, and letting everything happens for a reason. So letting that all fall into place, and it clearly has worked well for both of you guys, extremely well. So I just want to take the opportunity, one, to thank my guest host, Justina. I'm sure Ricky's gonna be getting phone calls. So there's that. You guys can duke it out while I'm on maternity leave. But Pady, Kerry, thank you both so much. I appreciate all of your insight. I appreciate all of your knowledge and your wisdom as both a legend and a leaper, and just being able to learn even more about you guys in this past hour. So everyone, thank you all so much for staying with us for the quick little after show that we had. And we'll see you guys in April.
Yes, Kerry and Pady, I hope you had as much fun as was intended on this call.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
And happy
let us
birthday,
send us
Kerry.
pictures, Lauryn, when
Oh,
you have a baby.
I will make sure that everyone gets pictures come May for sure.
Right.
Happy birthday, Kerry. I hope that this year around the sun, it just gives you everything that your heart absolutely desires. And I know you're gonna have a good old time today. It's Wednesday, so not too far from Thursday or Friday, and it's your birthday. So if you need to get the party started early, girl, we understand. But thank you all so much, and everyone have a blessed one.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Yeah, thanks, Lauryn.
Bye.
Bye, Kerry. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Happy birthday.